Shay Gems, welcome to the Empress Empire. I'm your host with the most, Ashanti, and today I have a special guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm RoseGold Shay, the Rose Gold Goddess. I'm an artist, as in rapper, poet, crystal lady, spiritualist, beginner astrologer, a lot of different things. I'm excited to be on this call. I thank y'all for listening in. If you're playing it after the fact, thanks for pressing play. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That was an introduction right there. Okay. Introducing Rose Gold Shay. First off, thank you for reaching out because I had posted it with the hopes of, maybe one or two people, but a whole bunch of people reached out and you were one of those people. So I really do appreciate it. Today we're going to be getting into a really interesting topic. Yesterday we talked about, death and transformation, whereas today we're talking about reaching nirvana, or really aligning with, your happiness, what makes you happy, things like that. And I have, my own talking points, but Miss Shay, getting into happiness, what does happiness mean to you?
See, I thought about that today too. Like, what is happiness? Like, I'm over here saying what should be the topic. Like, what is it? It's just a bubbly feeling inside
Mhm.
that radiates outside. If
Yeah.
if achieved, it'll start internally and people around you will feel it. That's how you
Mhm.
know what happiness really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely relate. Definitely relate to that. It's like a high that you can't get anywhere
Mm,
else, you know? It's like happiness is fulfillment in a sense, like you feel overjoyed, you feel, you know like nothing can stop you in that moment, you're confident as ever, you're glowing like crazy. Like when you're happy, people can tell, people can really see the difference. Like and I've always noticed it in people's eyes. Like I've always been able to see it in people's eyes, like if they were super sad or if they were happy or whatever the case may be. So that moves me to my next question. What makes you happy? What are some things that, when you think about them or when you're interacting with them, they make you feel that feeling?
Oh man, good music is definitely on the list. That can shift my mood from, tears to happiness or at least relief. And
Hmm.
I just find happiness in the smallest things, like laying on the couch, watching
Right.
TV, like, clocking out of work. Those things make me happy, like
Yeah.
those small, tiny steps.
I love that. The little things. And I think we were talking about this the other day too, a few episodes ago, how, we think that there are these big old things like cars and homes and, all these flashy things. We see those things, we're like, oh, happiness, when, it is the little things. It is the things that, we take for granted 9 times out of 10, So I love that you said that because, some people would say, oh, it's money, it's this and it's that. And, that's fine, to each his own. I feel like happiness is subjective because some people may, feel like laying on the couch is unproductive. And then they feel like, oh, that doesn't make me happy because I feel like I'm not doing nothing. So, it's
Mhm,
great that we're all entitled to what makes us happy. And I could say for me, music is definitely number one. Like before you even got on here, I'm over here jamming out, listening to some music myself. So music is definitely one of those things that uplifts your spirits. And there's a song for everything, so I always recommend like
mhm.
playlists to people, like, oh, y'all listen to this playlist if you're trying to feel this, if you're trying to feel that. um and I really do think that, with your happiness, it is a priority. And I do feel like a lot of people overlook it. They're like, oh, well, I got to get this, I got to get that, trying to, survive. And they forget to live. And I saw a video, I didn't watch it, but the title of it was Happiness is Not the Ultimate Goal. So, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like happiness is the ultimate goal, or do you feel like there's, other things in life we should be striving for?
The ultimate goal.
Hmm.
That's the ultimate for me. I don't ooh, this gonna sound dark and morbid. I don't wanna be
Say
here if
it.
I'm not happy. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? How am I
Right.
pushing through not happy? I have to find it somewhere. Like, not that I'm
Hmm.
just gonna be the radiating ball 24/7,
Right.
but a small piece of happiness is the goal for sure, every
Hmm.
day, every day.
Yeah. That's a one. Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, really know how I feel about that. And see, I could be judging the book by its cover because the video could be completely different from the title, but the title itself just kind of sparked something within me because I feel like, the ultimate goal is to transcend in a sense, we're not here to just stay the same and be stagnant. We're here to grow. And I feel like with growth, comes happiness. We align with it if that is something that we choose to do. A lot of people don't choose that though, and that's okay. That's, a part of their journey. And I just feel like the ultimate goal is, to be happy because you get to extend that to other people. And, it's a ripple effect, it's something that, is continuous and we don't go from, being happy to being miserable, because at that point we've acknowledged that, we're going to have those lows and we're also going to have those highs. So I guess my question to you now would be, what would you suggest to someone that is in that space where, they don't really feel like they can reach the happiness or whatever the case may be? If you see someone that isn't at their best, what advice would you give to them when it does come to obtaining their happiness?
Mm, those small steps, like the simplest thing. Like I worked at a job that I was miserable, depressed, and then I just randomly got on Amazon and bought something that you like a screen to put on my back door. And I opened the door and I would just work with the door open. And I felt my mood shift. I felt
Mhm.
happier. I was like, wow, the trees blowing, the sound of the creek in the backyard, just putting some small step. And then you have to envision what is happiness to you. Because I'm not against it being material either. Like retail
Right.
therapy is real. I love popping tags. Like
Okay, I'm a
gotta
Capricorn rising. Got to.
yep, same.
Really, you're a
Like,
Capricorn rising?
mhm.
Wow, I love that.
I
Wow.
like new stuff,
Mm.
but also thrift store stuff. So like not
Mhm.
brand new, but new to me. That
Yeah.
brings me happiness.
Yeah.
So you really got to figure out what it is for you, or
Hmm.
whatever's making you sad. You have to weigh it. Like how
Right.
important. Yes, I didn't like the job, but do I really care? Mm. Okay, I can
Yeah.
check in with my family. That makes me happy. Like it just depends. You
Right.
really figure it out and find it.
Yeah, I think that really is the first step is figuring it out because, if you don't allow yourself to experiment, then you're probably going to be stuck in that stagnancy. Which is why I always recommend people to just go with the flow, like, release expectations because sometimes having those expectations makes it very hard to just, be. That's really all we want is to just be. We don't want to be stressed. We don't want to be, we don't really want to be anything but us. But
Mhm.
within society, we have all these different labels, we have all of these different beliefs, and everyone's everywhere. So it really comes to a point where everybody's projections are always like being thrown at you constantly. So then you get in that space where you don't even know what you want because you feel bad for wanting this or feeling bad for wanting that. And I love how you said you spoke about retail therapy because it was something that I had to look at and not be shameful about. Like I'm somebody that I love luxury things. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'll look at anything as a luxury: food, new
Mhm.
clothes, whatever. It does not matter. And people will call me bougie for that. They'll make me feel like, oh, you're just bougie. I'm like, no, I'm just abundant. Like I'm not
Yeah,
bougie, I'm abundant.
yeah.
So yeah, people will really try to project, onto you, but I think that's where you have to, be solidified within yourself. I think that's another major key with happiness is, knowing what makes you happy and not feeling bad for it. Like, there's so many different things that we do that, make us happy that the next person's gonna look at it and be like, that shit is crazy. Like how like
Right.
how? But it's to each his own. And I feel like with the different experiences that we're given throughout life, sometimes it's hard to compare happiness to anything. So that's why I always suggest people to like experiment and get out of their comfort zone and really just try new things because you never really know what that happiness will look like until you seek it. So I love this conversation. I love this topic because you have a song, right?
Mhm.
About this. So we'd like to share the song with us. Let us know about it. What inspired you to make it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the song is called Paradise. It's out on all platforms. And I was working a midnight job, like rebuilding a Walmart, steel toe shoes, working, like putting shelves together, climbing up ladders, 10-hour shifts. And the producer who made the beat, shout out to It's Leak, he was like, "Yeah, I got some stuff." He played it for me, and I was like, "Send this to me." The next day, I wrote it on my lunch break in the car. Like, in how I'm sounding in the song, it sounds like I'm somewhere other than work in the parking lot, but
Hmm.
I'm in the middle of a 10-hour shift with my steel toes on, trying not to fall asleep. And I just realized, like, I'm happy. This is still paradise to me because I chose to be here. I choose my reality. I
Hmm.
can leave if I want to. I can stay longer if I want to. It's just a job, but I'm here with a dope producer, like, that's nothing but God. Like,
Right.
what are the odds? I didn't know him before this job, so that's paradise to me. Like, this is the perfect scenario. I'm making money, I'm rapping in the car, what else do I need? Like,
Right.
this is it.
I
I'm
love that.
happy. Like,
Right. I love that. That's beautiful too, because you think that, you know, I guess like on the outside looking in, it's one of those things where you wouldn't expect that to be the origin, like it's those unexpected things that I love, to see because, you know, I don't know, life is so unpredictable, it's like, you never would have known, like, let's say this is your biggest hit, and it all comes from you working this job and, doing your thing, and running into a produce, like it's like it all just fits really well, and it's like the stories just write themselves at this point.
right.
So I love that. I feel like, with music too, because I write music myself, so I know like it's an escape, in a sense. You get to just go to another place, and I guess just use that inspiration from the things around you to really cultivate some form of art, that other people may be able to relate to. But you get to tell a story. And I always think that that's such an amazing thing. All songwriters and artists just have a special place in my heart because it's really not, it's easy to just sit and just be like, okay, we're going to start this out. But, the process is, one of those things where you could have a writer's block, or it could be just one of those moments where you're not feeling it, like, it could be many different things, but music is so life-changing, and I feel like it's been able to help so many people, that do go through things and don't know how to speak or don't know how to, I guess, connect with other people. But when you have music, you got so many people telling their stories. You got so many people, talking about different topics, or even experiences that are taboo, or just things that don't really get much attention, in the modern society. So I love this song, by the way. I had listened to it, and I really appreciate, how, I don't know, it just does, it brings that like, ooh, like it brings that vibe to it. So I really love it. And I do appreciate you, like I said, for just being here today. Cause I'm like, she's gonna be a celebrity soon. So I might as well,
Look,
might
look,
as well
I'm
have her
glad you
on.
know.
Gotta
We
have
gonna
her
keep
on.
doing it though. This
Yeah.
isn't the first one. We gonna once it really pop, we gonna do it again. We
Yeah.
gonna do it again.
I know
I
that's
got
right.
more songs.
Okay. See, I have one I'm recording right now, and I'm just like, because I don't know. I don't know if it's just the perfectionism that I have where I'm like, I record, so I'm like, I can do it better. I can do it better. I
Ooh,
can do it better.
oh no. What's your big three? Now I need to know.
Okay,
What's
Gemini
you told
Sun.
me Capri. Okay,
Yeah. With Gemini Sun,
Capri.
Taurus Moon, and a Capricorn Rising.
Ooh, so you
Yeah,
change your mind a lot.
I do. Because I remember I was recording, I was like, ooh, this sounds so good. And then the next day I listened to it, I was like, nope, we got to redo this one. We got to redo this whole track. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I do change my mind a lot, but it's like,
Ooh.
why? Gotta gotta find that balance. Um, but yeah. So reaching Nirvana. Now Nirvana is just such a like nostalgic word for me because I used to see it a lot growing up. Um, and I used it because I've been taking, classes on world religions and stuff. And it's in connection to Buddhism because they have, some different like, nirvanas and things like that they talk about. And I love the word because it can mean so many different things. But, for a lot of people, their nirvana is that safe haven, that safe place that, the comfort and, whatever it could be, because, we can define this ourselves. But I named it this because I feel like for us, it's something that, we feel is so far away, and we feel that it's something that, we can't really obtain, or, we feel like there's going to be some type of struggle to get there. But happiness is easy. And I don't think it's one of those things where you have to struggle to receive it, because it's always there. It's always there. It's always there for you. It's just all about wanting that for yourself and wanting to connect with that. And I just love feeling happy. I just love, being in a good mood. But I will say that, it doesn't take away from the bad moods, because we're going to experience them. And I feel like, when it does come to balance, a lot of people would rather just feel happy all the time, which is great. But then when that sadness comes, or that depressive wave hits, it's just kind of like, well, that's over. Ain't no more happiness for me. But I think even in that sense, it's like, you have to experience the highs and lows of life. And I think even in those moments where we feel low, we feel like, oh, there's no way I'm gonna get out of this, that's where we have to shift our mind a little bit. I will get out of this. I will, move out of this space. And I think that, being in that low space is a sign that you're going to a higher height. It's like we don't have to look at it like it's the end all be all. But I was gonna ask you something. I just feel like with happiness and reaching it, like I said, like it's not something that we need to look at as hard, because it's really not that hard. Like you had mentioned, it's the little things. It's really the littlest things that can make you happy, like just being outside in nature, going for a drive, just reading a
Mhm.
book. Like it could be in so many different things. What do you feel keeps people from obtaining this happiness?
Oh, getting stuck in the low, like
Mhm.
not having in mind that it's a season, just thinking it's your permanent situation. I don't want to hear all of that positivity preaching. You just thinking that you're stuck in your situation.
Mhm.
That's the worst the worst thing. I was there for a long time. I literally started losing my hair because I
Mhm.
was so stuck in my life is never going to get better. Like I woke up one day, looked in the mirror, I was throwing up, so depressed.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see the light. I just couldn't my brain just couldn't see. You have a place to stay. You have a working phone. You have a TV. Like I just couldn't see it. So I what I do to keep myself from getting back to that place is I do a gratitude list. I write a long list of things I'm grateful for, and it's the small. I'm grateful for ears, eyes, food. If I truly can't think of if that job I didn't get is haunting me, I'm not going to mention my employment. I'm going to focus on the as many things as possible because they can be taken from you so quick too. It could get worse. Like when people say it could always be worse. No, it really can. Just when I
Mhm.
didn't think it could, here it goes. Like it's
Yeah.
back again.
I love the
So
gratitude list. Thank you for mentioning that, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize what they do have. And even for me, sometimes I have to look at it in a perspective of, you have it better than a lot of people, like, I remember one time I couldn't pay a bill, and I was just super sad. And then I was like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like the worst thing that could happen is that the Wi-Fi is gonna turn off, and at least you still got a bed. You got books in here that you could read. Like, there's always, a silver lining. And I think that sometimes we focus solely on the negative. And this is just my take, but I feel like a lot of people just don't care for solutions. A lot of people just don't want to find solutions to their problems, and they get comfort from the negativity because they may be used to it. But even with that being me, at one point I realized, like, okay, this ain't even me. This ain't even me. This isn't who I want to be. This isn't the, energy that I want to put out into the universe, because I'm just going to keep getting it back. So I might as well, go ahead and switch it up a little bit, so that I'm not repeating these same cycles and stuck in this, constant thought bubble of, I'm not enough. or I don't deserve this, or I don't deserve that. And I think that happiness too is also the way that you treat yourself. You know, if you're treating yourself like shit, then you're gonna be living a shitty life. You know what I'm saying? But if you care for yourself and you know you're loving yourself and you're motivating and pushing yourself, then that's gonna change the environment that you're in. So it's one of those things where you know you get to decide, you know, how you go about life. You get to decide how you know you show up. You get to decide if you're happy or not. You know,
Mhm.
it's really all a choice. And I feel like people think that their choices are limited, but that is just an illusion that we should not be feeding into. We should be looking at it from, you know, the standpoint of, you know, we are, you know, souls having a human experience and we get the experience to do what it is that we please. We just have to set
Oh,
that intention.
ooh, I definitely wanted to add, this is the part that makes me mad, and I know
Mm-hmm.
people ain't gonna wanna hear this. Bad stuff happens to good people who don't deserve it. Sadly, y'all, we here for character development. Hate to break it to you. You're here. Those bad things are just character development. I'm sorry. Like it's gonna keep happening. You were doing good. You was nice to everybody. You paid every bill. You prayed. You read the Bible. You meditated. Guess what? You still had this tragedy happen. Why? Why? And now you're sad. But guess what? It was character development. Like you need to
Mm-hmm.
just appreciate the ebbs and flows. Like the highs is always gonna be way higher than the lows. Like what I'm embarrassed about is the moments where I thought that I'm just so sad. I can barely remember what it was. I've been so happy. I don't even remember what I was throwing up about for real. Like, was
Yeah.
it that bad? Did you
Mm-hmm.
learn from it? Some of it, how did you get here? Why am I here? Like now I take a pause. I definitely get sad. Those I'm a Cancer sun, so it's gonna switch day by day. It'll switch midday what my mood is. I
Mm-hmm.
can't control it, but I'm gonna definitely analyze it. Like how did I get here? Is this my doing? Do I take any accountability, or why does God want me to go through this right now?
Right.
But it's hard to hear that when when you taking punch after punch after punch. You don't want to hear
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. People don't. It's like, why does it have to happen to me? I've done this and that. And it's like, you know, it's not just happening to you. Like we all are going through this collectively. Like we're all going
Yes.
through some shit. You know, it's not even one person on this planet that just has it good their entire life. And then it's always the argument of, oh, the rich people are always happy, or like they don't have a say, or they can't be sad or angry or frustrated. But even then, they got their own conflicts that they're experiencing. Like, you know, we could never look at someone and just assume that because their life looks easy, that it is, you know.
Mhm.
And I love that you brought that up because a lot of people, they don't want to hear it and they don't care to hear it and they don't want to take accountability either. So that's another reason why they don't want to hear it, because it's one of those things where they don't want to be the one at fault as to why their life isn't progressing the way that it's supposed to be. They think that they have to depend on someone else for their happiness or for, you know, progress. But it's an internal battle. You know, it's an internal
Mhm.
battle. You're fighting yourself every single day, to get yourself to either face something or to, you know, take the next step or something of the sort. So I do feel like, you know, this day and age, people just want somebody to save them and they need some type of savior.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, we got to save ourselves out here. You know,
Ooh,
this is this is every man for himself. We have
that's
to
it.
save ourselves.
That's it. Nobody else, nobody is coming to save you. Not one person, not your significant other, not your parents, not your kids, not your friends. It's you. Like God is always with you. He walking right next to you whenever you need, but you have to take some initiative to get a
Hmm.
result. Like
That's the
stuff just
one.
don't fall out the sky.
Right. Yeah, people will really take that approach. But like, yeah, there's no savior, babe. There's no saviors. You are your own savior. And see, I've seen a pattern where a lot of people that need a savior are out here trying to save everybody else. So it's like you're taking this energy that you could be pouring into yourself and using it to help other people, and then feel as though you need somebody to fill that space for you when you could be filling that space for you. You know, you could be providing that, you know, savior, you know, energy in your own life if you just take more time to yourself and stop trying to please everybody else, please yourself.
Are you talking about me or
Oh, I was just saying in general.
sheesh? Good goodness gracious. Ooh. Oh man.
Like she done threw the tree at me. But
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's a word right there.
Yeah. Because even
Mhm.
today, I had to come to the conclusion that, you know, other people's responsibilities are not my responsibility. Even if you come to me with it and you say, hey, I need your help, I do not have to say yes. But
Mhm.
the person that I've become, I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to say yes to people. And today I was like, no, no, mm-mm,
Mm,
hell no.
yeah.
Because it's one of those things where you say yes to somebody one time, they're gonna keep coming back to you every single
Mhm.
time, because they know they're gonna get that yes. They know they're gonna get that confirmation or that okay to do whatever it is that they please. And then it just reaches a point where you're drained and you're tired and you don't want to keep filling that space for people when now you're empty and don't have anything to really give. So you're giving the scrapes off the ground because you still want to continue giving to those around you. So I know for me, I had to come into my own mode and just be like, why are we saying yes? Why are we agreeing to things that we don't even want to do, or we end up regretting it later? Like, why we say yes in the first place? So,
Mhm.
that's where I'm at with it right now. I'm learning to say no and to be okay with saying no, because I always feel guilty. I always feel like, ooh, they're gonna be mad at me. And then there's the ego in me that's like, so like, so
Right.
let them be angry, let them be upset, because a lot of people just want to put their responsibilities on us because they don't want to do it. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
like, no,
Oh
I
man.
can't do it no more.
I love when people tell me no because I just learned how to say it. So I love
Mhm.
it now. Like I respect that so much.
Yeah.
Tell me no. Tell me I don't have space for this. Like I'm
Right.
proud of you for really being self-aware because I wasn't for
Yeah.
29 years of my life. I wasn't aware that I had an empty cup that I'm trying to
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
respect the no. I love it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
one
the
of my
one.
friends, he sent me he sent me the Iyanla video where she said, "My
Hmm.
cup runneth over. What's in the cup is for me. What runs over is for everybody else." And
Mm.
I started living by that. This
Ooh.
year, after all this time, I
Yeah.
finally realized you don't have to pour from your cup. If it's running over, be a blessing. Be
Right.
that ear for somebody to vent, something like that. Or
Mhm.
or if it's money, if it's running over, shoot, drop $20
Right.
on it,
Why not?
whatever.
I
But
love that.
skip don't skip your Wi-Fi bill for somebody else. Like
Literally. Yeah.
you're looking crazy, and now you're mad at everybody else because
Hmm.
you pour from an empty cup.
Right.
That was on you. They didn't know that.
Exactly.
They just want the money.
Right. Exactly. Now that's facts. Cause even for me, I had to realize that, like, I'm only hurting myself, by doing that. So it's one of those things where you really do have to take a step back and ask yourself, are we biting off more than we can chew? Are we giving too much of ourselves away? Um, so yeah, I've learned to respect the no too, because I used to be, very like, ooh, I don't want to say no, like I don't want to say it. But it's like, if that's what you feel called to do, then do that. Don't allow people or the idea of people's reactions or responses to keep you from setting your boundaries. Boundaries
Mhm.
are so important, and they're so significant for your happiness too. Because I've tolerated a lot of BS out of exchange for my happiness, and never will I ever do that again.
Ooh, yeah. Handing your happiness over is a real thing.
Yeah.
Or see, when I was walking around today thinking about what is happiness, I was just thinking like it's really for you to get. What I have done it was expect other people to make me happy. That's
Mm-hmm.
nobody else's responsibility. They can make you happier. You need to make yourself happy, and that's on you. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just miserable for a long time. Why are you just disappointing me? You make me so unhappy. Like, no, that's on you. Like, you're sad
Yeah.
with your own life for whatever reason. People gotta find their way. Like you said, it's no savior. It's nobody gonna do it
Right.
for you. Mm.
Facts. Yeah, nobody's pulling up in the cape and being like, "Oh, dun, 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 about to save the day." Like, we get none of that. We got to show up like that way for ourselves, though. We can be our own superhero. We can be our own savior. And it is a lot of work. You know, it is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of building a relationship with yourself. So it's not one of those things where you just wake up and, oh, we happy, jolly, woohoo. Like it's a process, you know. And I feel like as you grow more into yourself, it makes it easier, you know. But a lot of people expect it to just be a switch, like instantly. But, you know, it takes some time and it takes some work. And that's why I always encourage people to be patient with themselves. Like we go through trauma and our upbringings. Like we going through traumas on the daily. Like it's not
Mm,
one of those things where you just forget all about it and just walk into this new reality where everything's just perfect. So be patient, especially to those out there that are listening. When it comes to your happiness, it's one of those things where you have to create it, you know. So it's not going to be this easy process. It's a work of art in itself because you get to decide what goes where, and make it how you want it to be, you know. And I think that's why it's beautiful that we do get the opportunity to create our own reality, because if we was all living the same reality, oh,
yeah.
it would not be great.
Mm, I think like the people around you, your friends, family, your tribe, whatever you got, they can definitely assist you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
on you to open up and allow them to assist.
Right.
Like I just went to a petting zoo. I don't like animals, but I was like, you know what? Open up. And when I got there, I was bad. It smelled really bad. I was
Mm-hmm.
upset. And I opened up some more and I realized you're having fun. Like,
Yeah.
aren't you glad your friends invited you here? Look at you. Or
Mm-hmm.
stayed in that. It's hot. It stinks. I don't you could have stayed in that the whole time and been
Right.
unhappy. But the moment that you realize you're having a good time, I'm with fun people. I don't care for animals, but this is pretty cool. I'm happy. That changed my day. I was so happy when I went home. Like, wow, like
Yeah.
look at me letting people help me. Like they can't make me happy, but they can help. You got to be open to the
Right.
help.
Be open to the help. Yes, I have that one bad because I'm very like hyper independent. So it's very hard for me to extend that, you know, that energy outward because I always get very like, I can do it myself. I can do it myself. But, you know, when you do allow people to help you, it makes it easier. And it doesn't have to be, you know, you doing it alone. There's a saying that I saw. It said, you can do things by yourself, but you do not have to. So I love that because, you know, I grew up raising myself. So I've always felt like I had to do everything alone. And even recently, you know, I had friends and, you know, we were in group calls, we were talking about our problems and things like that. And I always found myself just being like, I really want to open up. I don't really want to do this. I don't really want to do that. And you know, for some people, it is the people that they're around. You know, are you making me comfortable? Are you really providing that safe space for me? And then others, like myself, it's one of those things where it's just hard to do that. You know, it's just hard. So I'm coming to a place now where I'm just kind of, you know, opening myself up more. And you know, being transparent has been one of those things that have helped me a lot. If I was just sitting around lying to myself, like, oh, I'm good, ain't nothing bothering me, then I feel like that would put me in that space where I'm not trying. Whereas now I'm self-aware, I'm transparent, and I'm really trying to, you know, find different solutions and, you know, different communities that cater to my needs and wants. And I think that's the biggest thing of all is, you know, understanding your needs. Because I feel like if your needs are not met, then you're not really going to be happy, you know, because you're going to be worried about that, or it's just something that, you know, is going to stress you out. So I do feel like, you know, with help, allowing other people to help you, it's such an important thing. And it's so, like, nowadays it's so slept on. You know, people hate people nowadays, or, you
Yeah.
know, it's it's like we live in a world where everybody's crying out for help, but they don't want to have that help, you know. Or it's just the idea of, I want to be cold hearted, or I don't give a fuck. You know, we live in a day and age where people say they don't care and they screaming at the top of their lungs, but really there's somebody inside crying, begging for somebody
Yep.
to help them, you know?
That crap is sad. All of that. I don't have female friends. I don't
Mm,
hang with females. When people say that, I just be like, it's only a matter of time before I figure out why. And you're
right.
a nasty person. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
need some friends. You need somebody to tell you you have a stanky attitude today.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment people do, you cut them off because you really don't want no help. Yet again, you want to
Yeah.
stay sad. You
Yeah.
want to stay miserable. you don't want people to hold you accountable, I welcome it because I don't have it figured out. Like, please help. Like, at that low where my hair was falling out, I'm begging my friends, what am I
Yeah.
missing? Help 911. Like,
Somebody out there.
mm,
That's
oh
the
man, it
one.
took a lot of somebody. Shoot, I went to a psychiatrist. Okay, I put on my
Mm-hmm.
sunglasses, like set it off, walked in there real smooth. Like, hello, nice to meet you. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta say something, and that took for a somebody else to tell me that they had went through the same thing. But if you
Mm-hmm.
all, I'm good. Everybody else is miserable but me. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Ignorance is
never gonna
bliss for
be
only
happy. You
so
can't
long.
I speak. I speak with as much intention as possible. So sometimes I try not to say when I'm unhappy. But
Mm-hmm.
you gotta get it out. You gotta tell the truth.
Yeah.
How you gonna fix it? You don't even
Right.
think that you're sad. You haven't left the house in 4 days. You don't even know that you're sad. You need to say, I need to get happy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's one of those things where my therapist, I remember I was in that space where I was like, oh my gosh, like I go through just so many transitions. And I just remember telling my therapist one time, like, I just not feeling it. Like, I don't know what it is. It's not that I wanted to die in that moment, but it was like I just don't want to be here. I just didn't like the way that things were going in my life. And I just remember him telling me, have you been outside?
Ooh.
And I was like, no. I was like, have not been outside. He's like, I
Mm-mm.
think you may need to go outside, get you some vitamin D. And I was like, okay. So I ended up
Mhm.
going outside after that. And I just remember sitting in the sun because anytime I do go outside, I'm right where the sun's at. I know people like to be in the shade, but I like to be where the sun is hitting. So I'll sit there and I just remember like a wave of just energy just came over me. Everything that I was worried about, everything that I was sad about, what was it? What was it? In the moment, I'm sitting there, just got done talking about therapy about everything that's wrong in my life, and I'm sad about this, sad about that. And then I go outside and none of that matters. Doesn't even matter no more. Because, when you sit in the same space time and time and time, day in, day out, then it really does nothing for you. You could watch a show or read a book or whatever, but it's something about being out of your environment or stepping out of your comfort zone. Because, our rooms are boxes, we're limiting ourselves in this space. And that's why I had to start going to the gym and, just getting out of the house, because the more I stayed in the house, the more I was just in my head, just thinking of
Mhm.
different things and just making shit up and thinking, oh, my life sucks. I'm always in the house. Like, no, that is not the reality that we're choosing to live right now. That's not who we want to be. So I had to make those necessary decisions. I had to cut some things out of my life. Had to cut some people off, had to block some numbers, had to change my number. You got to do a lot of things for your happiness. You got to make those sacrifices because a lot of people will hold on to toxic situations to be happy, but it's doing the opposite. It's very counterproductive to think that if you hold on to something for so long, it'll just help you in the long run. If it's hurting you now, it needs to go. You don't just keep holding on because it hurts you more in the process. So make those sacrifices. If there's things that you got to remove for your happiness, do that. You got every right. This is your responsibility. So don't let nothing get in the way of your happiness, period.
That's facts. That's facts. Nothing is stopping me. Like, I am swift now. Like, you get 1.5 times with me. And before I cut you off, I'm gonna consult with a third party. I am
Mm-hmm.
a fair person, so I will
Yeah.
tell both sides of the story. But you come back and do something else that makes me unhappy. There's nothing else to talk about.
Right. Ain't
It's
no coming back.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
My happiness is non-negotiable.
That is the
I
one.
like you said earlier, like, is that what was the title of the YouTube video?
I'll reach in
Like,
Nirvana.
you can't always
Oh, yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
you
yeah. It was
didn't
like
watch it.
happiness is not the ultimate goal or something like
Yeah.
that.
That's not gonna work for me.
Yeah, no,
How long
seriously.
should I sit? How long should I be miserable? What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
And then if that's not the ultimate goal, what is? You know, what would it
Mm,
be? Because I want to be as happy as I can be in this lifetime. Especially growing up, not having the access to that happiness, not knowing how to navigate my life because no one's instilling that in me. No one's telling me like, be happy, choose your happiness. No one's telling me that. Nobody's educating me on, what I should be doing with my life, especially as a youth. Like that people don't realize children, we pick up on everything. We're soaking up all the things around us. So I'm soaking up everybody's negativity. I'm soaking up everybody's anger. So there wasn't really a key person in my life that, and had that happiness to them or had that nature to them. So when you get older and you're trying to find it, it's like, okay, what do we do from here? But it's like you said, you have to sit with that shit for a second. You got to sit with it for a little bit before you even go out of yourself to seek it. And that's another thing too. People think that happiness is outside of them. It's internal, and then you have these other things that, they attribute to that. So it's not like, you just have to be your own source of happiness. There are other things that will make you happy. Like I love watching, certain TV shows. Like there's things that, make me feel good. Like after a long day, I want to be laid up in my bed, listening to some frequencies or playing my music or whatever the case may be, because, I know that I can't do it all by myself. So sometimes it does take a village to provide, us with that peace and that warm feeling that we all crave. We all crave it. We all crave it. We all want to be happy. If we all had a choice, we're going to choose happiness. And for those that do choose misery, you ain't gonna find no company over here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no.
You ain't get no company from me.
I asked my followers what makes them happy, and they
Mm-hmm.
said love. And as
Mm.
we were speaking, it triggered a thought in my brain. Like I remember being unhappy. I was in between homes, in between jobs, dark, very dark. But what would bring me to tears is the fact that I had a friend who would let me stay there for free. Once
Mm-hmm.
I realized I had love, I would cry. That's what would make me cry. It wasn't the sad stuff. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
what an abundance of love. Like that made me happy. Like I don't really cry over sad stuff. I cry over happy
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So it really love, like you have to realize that it's around. If I just wanted to sit with the list of I don't have, I don't have, I don't have, I would have never realized I had love,
Mm.
support, people praying for me. That was enough to make me happy.
Right.
But if I'm waiting, at that time I was like I said, I'm in between jobs, so I'm waiting on a job to
Mm-hmm.
to, to hire me, thinking that will make me happy. But if you didn't have the love or the everything else, you still wouldn't be happy. Like
Right.
you have to. I like that they say love was a factor.
Yeah, love is amazing. And I was actually listening. Oh wow, I was actually listening to a song called "Easy" by Ella May, and she was saying like love is easy, don't make it hard. And basically, in the song she was like, "Let your guard down." And I feel like for a lot of us, when we have our guards up, it's hard for us to receive the love and receive the happiness and receive peace or whatever it is, because we're already under the assumption that whatever's coming this way is gonna hurt me. Whatever's coming this way is going to make things harder, or isn't going to be benefiting me. So do you feel like a lot of people have their guard up nowadays when it comes to receiving the good things, due to just fear of the unknown or whatever the case may be?
Oh yeah, the fear of the unknown or being burned before, like it could be a new relationship. Oh, I'm not
Mhm.
about to go out. Dudes just be on games. Like
Yeah.
you've been burned, you've been scorned, so now you're terrified. It's a fear. It's you don't think that. You don't really think it's reality at your
Hmm.
core. You couldn't possibly you couldn't believe it 100%. But to an extent, it has shaped your reality because you're stuck in this mindset. Like
Right. I don't know who is at
a
my door,
lot of
y'all, but
us.
hold on. You can continue. I'm gonna go see who's at the door real quick. They
Okay.
keep ringing the doorbell.
Uh-oh. If y'all got something that you want to drop in the chat, feel free. What makes you happy? I want to know too. I'd ask my followers. Something I was told was chocolate chip cookies. Driving around eating chocolate chip cookies. I promised her I would mention that on this call. So if y'all got some other stuff, I'm all ears. What makes you happy? Okay, okay. Freedom. Yes, I'm a very free person, as y'all can see. I painted this myself. Like oh y'all, I don't know if y'all were on at that time. I'm also the crystal lady. I quit my job to be the Crystal Lady, and the freedom made me happy. I'm a rapper, Crystal Lady. So I'm super, you know, free.
Love that. I heard you. She's like, I'm the crystal lady. I know that's right.
Uh,
Yeah, plug your
that's,
stuff
you
as you
know,
should.
I'm sure you're free too. Transparency is peace, peace is happiness. So for sure.
I love that. That's beautiful.
That's like a affirmation for the wall.
Right. Like I could see that on like some type of like canvas or something.
Yeah, look, somebody gonna steal that idea. You better
Wow,
hurry
you
up.
better take it and run, Jessica. Take it and run. Food, yes.
Ooh,
Big on food. That's me for sure. All day, every day.
them crab legs. What? I'm gonna be happy. I've never been unhappy eating a crab.
No, seriously. I know for me, like Taurus moon here. So anytime I'm in a funk, best believe I'm picking up my phone and ordering something. I'll just be like, oh well, looks like it's one of them days. Just one of them
Yep.
days.
That's why I don't judge people who do retail therapy because I do
Yeah.
food therapy. I'm getting my boil bag. I'm
Okay.
mad. My job pissed me off. I'm getting a boil bag today. I don't care what happens to my bank account.
Right. It's gonna come back.
Yep.
It's gonna come back. I
Mm.
love that. Yeah, food is
Oh, I
definitely
like
the key to my hearts. Knowing there's something more than the 3D world we live in makes me happy. I love that, Autumn. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's beautiful because then we don't limit ourselves to just what we're experiencing. We know that there's more beyond it. It gives
Yeah.
us something to look forward to. I love that.
Oh my goodness. Like the news, I have not watched in years. I don't know about everybody else,
I
but they will
never.
want you to think we're in hell. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is as bad as it can get. There's nothing good going on. Like they never start off with the good news. They never say
Right.
a little girl won the spelling bee. No.
Right.
They
Little
talk
girl just kidnapped. Like what? Like
yeah.
what is happening?
Just gets sadder and sadder. So that's my advice is remove things that make you unhappy. If you
Mm-hmm.
can. I don't watch the news no more. Like I just can't. I don't
Yeah.
do the gossip sites. I used to start my day off looking at gossip. Makes me
Mm-hmm.
unhappy.
Yeah.
No. And it's a lot of tragedies that happen. I'm an artist, so I'm tapped in with the music industry. I be wanting to know who dropped a song, but it's so many tragedies. I'm not consuming that. No, thank you. Mm-mm.
Yeah. At
I'll
that
read
point,
this
it's kind of like,
later.
if you meant to see it, you'll see it, but I'm not choosing to see it. I'm
Yeah.
not making that,
Mm-mm.
definitely not making that my reality. But
Nope.
yeah, do you have any other pointers for people that do struggle with this and maybe just any other bits and pieces of advice that you could share?
Ooh. Be open to different methods. Like I will try anything once.
Mm-hmm.
Petting zoo, walking barefoot, just get out the bed. Get out the bed, try something. And then when you can't find it, see what I'm naming is all external stuff.
Yeah.
That's the bare minimum is get out the bed. But you gotta go internal. Like I didn't know I had low self-esteem. I had to go in and find it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to figure that out and bring it to the surface. And that's how you can heal. That's the only way to get to paradise. You gotta love your reflection, love who you are, love everything
Mm-hmm.
about yourself, flaws and all, whatever it is. Don't I have a pet peeve, and I've done this, but so now it's a pet peeve to say, oh yeah, if I didn't have this gap in my teeth, then I'd be really, really pretty. Like you making yourself unhappy. You don't even hear
Right.
yourself. You gotta talk nice to yourself, whatever it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, talk nice to yourself. Be careful. Don't say
Yeah.
nothing foolish. Like I too work out, and I would never at this point in my life say, "Oh yeah, but I don't do much." No, yes I do. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
talk nice to myself and be mindful. Talking negative, your soul will hear you. Your soul is
Right.
getting unhappy. Like that's it. Journal, listen to positive videos in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
affirmations. I have trap formations. I listen to positive trap music.
Well,
But
send me the
that,
links.
oh yeah, I got you. I
Send me
need
the
to make it
links.
public. I have a playlist called Trap Formations on Spotify. I need to
And I got Spotify. Perfect. Perfect.
Mhm.
Because everybody I talk to that,
I
I got Apple
start
Music.
Look, I start my day off with gunning. Yeah,
Mhm.
I do some positive something to get me going.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's most of our trouble starts in the mind. It's other factors, it's external factors for sure. It could be health related, financial, but a
Mhm.
lot is the mind. Just getting
Yeah.
your brain to shift is the hard part.
Right. Especially if you've never had control over it, you know? Because I know I've slipped through the cracks before having that control and then just kind of, letting myself go due to, specific events. But it's easier to come back from when you've already developed that, sense of control. But when you've never had it, it's a different story because you don't even know where to start. But meditation is one of those things that I always like recommend like to people. And it may not work for everybody, but I only swear by it because it's helped me so much. So,
Mhm.
hopefully those that are listening at least try it and see how it works for you. It can be done in so many different ways. You don't have to just sit in a dark room and just close your eyes and hum. You could find different ways to meditate. But yeah, I love meditation and I feel like it's vital. I love journaling too, because it allows us to put our thoughts somewhere. Because if we don't give our thoughts a place to go, and they're just gonna be bouncing from one side of the brain to the other side of the brain. um so yeah, that's very important. The mind is such a powerful tool that I feel like we tend to overlook, because we always have so much going on. Growing up, we're getting up early to start our day to go to school. We go to school, get home, got to do our homework, got to listen to our parents tell us to do this or that. Like we never really had time to sit with ourselves and sit in that silence. So when you do it, it's very freeing. It's very liberating, and I think that it's one of those things that we do take for granted. We do take our minds for granted sometimes, but realizing that it's the greatest tool that you have access to is going to help you shift your reality for sure.
Mhm. My last piece of advice with journaling, I burn the paper because
Mm-hmm.
you letting stuff fly out, it could get really far left and you don't want nobody to find it. I burn it.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. Them thoughts, those feelings, the evidence is all gone. So
Right.
if you haven't tried journaling and you're thinking about it, if it get wild, burn that paper.
Burn it. Burn it down. I love burning. That's one of my favorite rituals, especially when like it's a full moon. Like I'm gonna write things down. I have like these little ancestor monies that I keep, and I'll just write on them and burn them and let it bye. It's gone. I'm not gonna worry about it no more. It's gone. So I love that you mentioned that because I love working with fire. Fire is probably one of my favorite elements to work with, along with water. And I was saying this. I think it was the episode before yesterday where I was talking about how use the elements to your advantage. They're here to work with you, so work with them. And it's great. And Shay here has crystals, y'all, a buttload of crystals, I might add. So check out the website. Maybe you need a crystal to help bring you out of that space. And there's so many different crystals for so many different things. And that's why I love them so much because it's like, we're not worshiping them, we're using them. And I feel like people don't understand that. Like we're working with these energies. And I guess people just I don't know. I think people just knock it before they even try. So that's why I don't really be giving them any of my time or attention because it's one of those things where it can really it's you that's giving it the power. And
Correct.
when you give it the power to work with you, then you can make some magical things happen. And I just love me some crystals. Like I got a selenite wand that I'm finna use right after this to just help me cleanse my own mind. um but yeah, Shay, let them know where
Here,
they can
let me
find you on
I dropped
social
it.
media. She dropped her
Okay.
link.
Yes, Rose Gold Vibrations for the crystals, RoseGold_Shay on all platforms, but without the underscore on streaming services. But yeah, I'm a dope artist too. I hit people right in their soul. So if you felt anything from this convo, you're gonna feel it when you listen to Life's a Trip, when you listen to Paradise, when you listen to Exodus. Yeah, a lot of people end up shedding some tears and letting some stuff go. So
I love that. You connect with people on an intimate level, and that's very rare in the music industry. A lot of people don't make music to connect to people on a soul level. They just make music for money. So
mhm,
that's how you can tell people's passion is really in their craft when they're able to speak through people or speak to people or just creating that safe space for people through your music. So I love that. I was gonna ask too, what made you want to name yourself Rose Gold Shay? Did you just like Rose Gold? He was like, I just like it, or was it something deeper?
It was the first one.
Oh, okay, that's fine too. That's fine too.
But like you said, the stories write themselves. So I
Mm-hmm.
found out deeper stuff as I
Yeah.
picked the name. And I was like, ooh, like I picked it like I liked rose gold a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had some rose gold slides, a rose gold grill, anklet, going crazy. I had a rose gold birthday party, started calling myself Rose Gold Shay.
Might
And
as well at
then
that point.
then I found out scientifically what rose gold is. Like I work with copper. As you already hear the word gold is in there. Rose
Mm-hmm.
gold is gold and copper mixed. And
Mm.
it's gold is like the most expensive of the metals. Well, rose gold is the most expensive. It's gonna cost you. But gold is like it should cost more because it's not cut with anything. Rose gold
Mm-hmm.
is cut with copper. So I just thought it was dope. Now, like, shoot, I'm the copper lady. Gold is top notch,
Mm-hmm.
sought after.
Yeah. That's
hmm
beautiful. I love that because I know I had named myself the Sacral Empress, and it was one of those things where I was, wasn't trying to find a name for myself. It's just that my business was my name, and I didn't really want that. I was like, how can I set myself apart from my business so that I'm not just behind the scenes. Like I want to be engaging with my community as well. So I was like the Sacral Empress, and then ended up just continuing to see why I chose this name, why I picked this as, something that I was going to call myself. So, it is one of those things we might start off and be like, yeah, it's just something for now. And then we grow into it and we see why, this is the name or why, we chose this or that. So I appreciate you for coming on today. This was an amazing conversation. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, nothing else. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, we definitely did. This is a great episode for those that are struggling with this because I do feel like we touched all the points. I'd love to have you on again. I got to clear out my schedule. These next few weeks is going to be crazy. But I do hope that if we both have free time, we get an opportunity to make some music together first off, and
Okay.
also create another episode as well.
Yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, the sacral empress. Y'all gotta learn the chakras too. Y'all need to look
Mm-hmm.
up why she called herself that.
Yes,
That's
look
y'all's
into it,
homework
y'all.
for the day.
Yeah, go look it up. Go look it up.
hmm
Well, I thank everyone that tuned in. Thank y'all for listening. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all so much. I'm going to call it a night. Don't forget to hydrate, meditate, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.